All, this is Mubin Sayed, and you are in the KoolBeens Cafe. So, I wanted to quickly look at some countries that are lifting the restrictions or stopping the vaccines. So, here, this is drbean.com, not a country yet, but it looks like we are a country. So, Denmark announces it is temporarily pausing its COVID vaccination campaign. Denmark is the first country to announce it is temporarily stopping its COVID 19 vaccination program due to the high rates of immunization and falling infection rates. So that is Denmark. Then this is March 24. I'm sure that the countries may be more. These country has actually, as spring and summer holidays approach, 6 European Economic Area countries have already announced that they no longer ask travelers to present valid COVID 19 proof upon arrival. Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Norway, Romania, and Slovenia. In addition, Hungary has also abolished the majority of its domestic COVID 19 restrictions. Travelers are no longer required to hold a valid vaccination or recovery pass when accessing cafes, restaurants, bars, cinemas, and museums, among others. This is April 25. In the latest news, Switzerland and Greece are both dropping entry restrictions on May 2. Hong Kong will lift the ban on international inbound travel on May 1, allowing vaccinated non-residents to enter the city if they comply with the government COVID-19 and quarantine measures. Scotland has lifted its mask mandate. Jamaica dropped its mask mandate and testing requirements for international visitors. Canada has dropped pre-travel testing requirements for vaccinated visitors. In New Zealand, restaurants, bars, and other businesses are no longer required to use vaccine passports. COVID-19 certificates are no longer needed for access to museums, hotels, and outdoor dining in Italy. Either the country will further relax its green pass system and lift mask requirement at the end of April. Denmark no longer required, we just talked about it. Sweden also dropped entry restrictions for travelers. So that's what's happening in the world. We have also, I think, there was a message that Fauci said that pandemic is over. Skyfrog said, "You mean I can't make money anymore selling vaccine cards?" Was it someone who's mentioned here that somebody was getting hundreds of vaccine doses to be able to sell the cards? Um, Denise is saying, "I'm sorry, Kelly. Kelly, what happened? I hope you're okay, Kelly." Petizik says ancient Egyptians drank more beer than water, and there was a reason. The only source of water was Nile, and Nile was also contaminated with all the garbage and trash and the human waste because they didn't have other ways to dispose of those things. So Nile's water was one of the worst and contaminated water. So they would rather prefer to take wine than to drink that water. Wine or whatever, beer or something. So John Snyder says, I want to know who is bringing BA4, BA5 to the prom. So John, I have a question for you. That is because I didn't get a chance to look at BA4 and 5. Is it true that BA4 and 5 in South Africa is not is escaping vaccine and natural immunity? I'm going to look it up as well. But if Texas knows, John knows, anybody else? So BA4 and BA5. Omicron BA4 is more. So let's look at the South Africa. I'm going to see here if John or Texas responded. Quinn says BA4, whatever, BA, whatever. Omi escapes both, does it? John says pre-print out today. Callie says it's about my Luffy allergy. Oh, got it. I hope you stay safe. John Snyder says, yeah, 89 vaccines. So he just made cards. Skyfrog, how many did you get? So back here, South Africa. Come on, load. Okay, so this is daily confirmed cases. So there is a spike here. So they were on April 10 or April 14, they were at 20 cases per day. And now they are at 70 cases per day. So about 3 times more or more. And at their previous peak, that was on December 17, they were at 319 cases per. This is actually cases per million per day. So from 380 or 90. So their peaks have been, first peak was 206. Next peak was 314. The peak after 329. The peak after was 390, about 400. And now they've gone to 70. And how about so these cases started rising from 18th of April. So 18th of April, 29. So 10 days, 11 days. Let's see. So death rate is still low, which I hope and pray it stays low. It went up in April. Then at this time it is low, but that is just one day, so it may be reporting issue. They did go up from 11.29. This is daily new confirmed deaths. So 11.29 type deaths daily to 22. So they doubled in death rate. Actually, not rate, but deaths. So that is South Africa. Man, how many? South Africa yesterday recorded 6,372 new COVID cases with a positivity rate of 21.1%. So this is, when is it? 28 April. So yesterday. So they had, do we need to have our friend from South Africa, the professor, to discuss BA4 and 5? Our main scenario for Omicron, BA4 and BA5 is that it increases infections, but that does not translate into large hospitalizations and deaths, experts said. The new Omicron sublineages, BA4 and 5, which were discovered by South African earlier this month, account for about 70% of new coronavirus cases, and experts suggest that it appears to be more infectious than previous strains. The BA4 and 5 sublineages appear to be more infectious than BA2, which itself was. So now the question, our main scenario, okay, fine, that is repeating. So I want to understand how, given the very low infections, hospitalizations, and deaths in South Africa, we are alerted about the continued evolution, but not concerned. All of the lab sciences on virus neutralization and vaccines are already underway, and we are strengthening genomic surveillance. So this is yesterday. This one doesn't say that it is escaping all the vaccines and natural infection. So this is Daily Mail. So if Bambi is here, how good is Daily Mail? How reliable? New COVID variant arrives in Australia as experts want to brace for more mutant strains this winter and why we all might get it again very soon. Okay, so this is just too much noise on this paper. I'm going to close it. Uh, Los Angeles time, it won't let me watch it because I have ad blocker on. So WHO is the the most late one. USA Today. South Africa is being hit hard by COVID again. Here's what that means for the US. I don't know why they. BA4 and BA5, new Omicron strains causing COVID cases to rise in South Africa. So it's the same news as I just saw. So he's saying that these BA4 and BA5 will escape a chunk of the remaining antibodies that still neutralize Omicron variants. He said that applies only to people who have antibodies from vaccine and pre-Omicron infections. People who have been infected by BA1 and 2 will probably react better to BA4 and 5. So this is all somebody said this, and I think he may have been somebody important there, but there is no data to back it up. How is US doing? My lovely country. Robin says everybody has paywalls. Elquin says fake book. Elquin and Skyfrog. Okay, so US. We have a tiny bit of an uptick again in cases. Again, I do not know how well we are counting now. You know, the best studies at this time to look at will be hospitalizations and number two, the antibody prevalence. Cases, I don't think they mean a lot at this time. Neither are they accurate, nor does that, because the virus is, in my opinion, becoming less lethal. So this is daily new confirmed COVID-19 deaths. So 355 today, or sorry, not today, 28th, and then 26, 359. And our latest peak, 2,551. The peak before that, 2,000. And the peak before that, 3,375. And the peak before that, 2,200. So low number, 355. How is UK? Okay, so are they counting correctly? Because they are going down again. What is it? So they are saying this is daily new confirmed, not per million, but daily new. So 16,753. If I go to These are daily new deaths, correct? Yeah, they went up and then they are back. So they went up from 105 March 15 to recent peak April 25 328. So almost 3 times. And now they are dropping back. So that's what's happening. Meanwhile, in America says also, how is Germany and Western Europe? Let's do that. Sky Frog is saying, I'm curious about why Germany had such a huge wave. Okay, so Germany, that's very interesting. Look at their previous waves. 20,000 is this per day? New confirmed cases per day. The peak in December 18, 2020, 25,000. Then another peak on April 24, 2021, 20,000. Then December 1, 2021, 5 months ago, 58,000. And then Feb 13 or 9, 190,000. What happened to Germany? Or are they counting correctly and not others? March 25, 229,000. And then they went up to March 31, 251,000. And now, excuse me, they've dropped back April 25 to 125,000. Alexa, what is Germany's population?
In 2020, the population of Germany was 83.8 million people.
So 83 million population. Alexa, divide 125,000 divided by 83 million.
125,000 divided by 83 million rounds to 0.002.
Okay, so that's the per million. Did she divide 125? Alexa, divide 125,000 by 83 million.
Sorry, I didn't get that. 125,000 divided by what?
83 million.
125,000 divided by 83 million is approximately 0.0015.
Okay, so I got it wrong. I should have said 83 because that's the number of millions. Alexa, divide 100. Alexa, divide 125,000 by 83.
125,000 divided by 83 is approximately 1,506.0241.
That is the number of cases per million. So daily confirmed deaths. So the first peak they had 2.77 is at per million. Then the second peak they had 10.68 per million. At this time they are at 2.60 April 25 per million. So still low, and I hope it stays low. So that is Germany. Cases are up, but the death rate is not. And meanwhile in America, okay, so let's ask that. Alexa, when will my MCAS go away?
Here's something I found on the web. According to magic.com, MK has them on September 22nd and Epcot has them on September 24th.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, where is Luffy?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Untitled.com, Luffy is currently in Rusukana training to get stronger to take on the new world. Did that answer your question?
Yes, that did.
Thanks for your feedback.
You are very welcome. Zizi Berman says my Alexa's answering too. That's a good question. So Dan Ban fan says, question, does Paxlovid or monoclonal antibodies prevent the immune system from developing antibodies to COVID? They don't prevent, but they reduce the amount of antibodies produced because they reduce the exposure of the immune system to the antigen. So it is, imagine if we give vaccine, but we give a very tiny dose. Does that produce enough response? No. Similarly, if the virus is in us, but we have monoclonal antibodies as well, then those antibodies are going to wipe up the virus. So very tiny amount will be exposed. Elquin, I'm not asking this question. So Bambi says government figures are wrong. Use ONS survey and Zoe COVID-19 symptom study. Let's see that actually. Zoe COVID study. COVID symptoms study. View your COVID in your state. Not US data. I wanted to have UK data. So it's kind of doing geofencing on me. Can I say UK? Oh, no. UK COVID data. What? Protected page? Oh, fine. I'm not looking at Zoe then. Okay, so ONS survey. Okay, so this is infection survey. Latest release is 29 April. Main points. So in the week ending 23 April 2022, let me see if I can make it bigger. The percentage of people testing positive for coronavirus continued to decrease in England, Wales, and Scotland, and the trend was uncertain in Northern Ireland. In England, we estimate that 2.4 million people had COVID 19. 95% credible interval is this, equating to 4.42% of the population or around 1 in 25 people. That's it. They have a total of 4.42% people getting COVID in the whole duration. In Wales, we estimate, so their estimate is 5.67%. Northern Ireland, 4.07%. Scotland, 4.14%. Within this bulletin, we summarize some of the latest results. Okay, so our estimates contain BA1 and 2 variant and all other variants. Okay, thank you. What is this now? This is estimated average of the population. So we just looked at that. Can we see more data? The percentage of people testing positive for COVID-19 continues to decrease in England, Wales, and Scotland. So percentage testing positive is dropping. Very interesting. So people are testing, percentage testing positive for COVID-19 England is this, and percentage testing positive COVID-19 after 20 April estimates have greater uncertainty. Okay, so dropping. Okay, so these are sub-regions. Sub-regional, let's say the UK. Okay, this is interesting. COVID-19 by age. So age 2 to school year 6. After 20 April 2022, excuse me, 2%. So in March, they were about 8%, and late March, they were 9% maybe. At this time, 2 to 6 years, 2.1%. School year 7 to 11, 1.8%. School year 12 to age 24, 2.7%. So consider that the overall they were at 4 or 5%, 4.4%. Age 25 to age 34, 4.3%. 35 to 49, 4.5%. 50 to 69, 4.9%. 70 plus, 5%. But all of them are dropping. So that's good. UK should be given an award for good data, and Israel. What is this? Black lines represent 95% confidence interval around the estimates, which reflect a 95% probability that true values. What is this though? The percentage of people testing positive for COVID-19 by single year of age over time for England. Okay. New COVID-19 infections. Estimated incidence per 10,000. 81. Is there a percentage change somewhere? So CDC has the percentage changes. We beat UK there. Bambi, I'm just joking. Viral load and variants of COVID-19. Omicron, variant of concern, which includes sublineages. Delta. So what is the load? Okay. Test sensitivity. So that's it. Enough data. What is also interesting is to look at the um, people who are becoming long COVID. Skyfrog says airfare to India too expensive. Skyfrog, you can just fly your own plane to India, right? So where can I get Novavax? So Canada has Novavax. Let's see. Ideally, Novavax's own site should tell us. UK, New Zealand. There are lots of people looking for Novavax. So let's go to Novavax site. Then let's go to news. Wow, that's interesting. So April 29, Novavax would be the first protein-based COVID-19. So FDA announces vaccines and related biological products advisory committee review of Novavax COVID-19 vaccine. Excellent. Finally, when is it? Novavax Inc. I really do not like their small font and gray background. Novavax Inc. So today announced that the US Food and Drug Administration Vaccine and Related Biological Product Advisory Committee will review Novavax vaccine for active immunization at a meeting scheduled on June 7. So we are in April, end of April. So, okay, about 40 or lesser than 40 days. Not too bad, but hey, they could have done it earlier. Reviews and evaluates data. So I would, can I tweet this? Yes. Tweet. Did you see my new Twitter picture? Check this out. Ha ha ha. I should change this as well. Okay, so that's interesting. Now we still want to look for where is Novavax approved. So COVID-19 updates. They should have some place to say following countries are using it instead of we going through each single country. So announcement of UK and South Africa trial results, Prevent 19 fact sheet, submits request to expand medical. So that's just sad. They do not have one place, or I do not know where it is. Skyfrog says, I'd like to get Novavax in New Zealand where men are men and sheep are nervous. Okay. Not nice, Skyfrog. So, Dr. Bean, I see that Musk liked your new Twitter picture. No, I don't think so. He was just probably in the Twitter feed. He must have been jealous of my new picture. So, any new updates? Yes. So, let's look at them as well. But now the cases are more than 200. And I believe one child died as well. And I believe more than 20 have needed liver replacement. So, let's go to CNN and see maybe they have a link to CDC. CDC, come on. The news just connects back to their own news. Maybe they have something over here. Okay, recommendation for adenovirus testing and reporting children with acute hepatitis. Advisory. And then wow, man, CDC site is just so going here. So 428. Highly pathogenic avian influenza virus. That is avian. Okay, so that is that one. Adenovirus testing and reporting. So they're still at in November 2021. So all five were sequenced. So all children were previously healthy. None had COVID 19. Case findings efforts at this hospital identified four additional pediatric patients with hepatitis and adenovirus infection for a total of 9 patients admitted from October 2021 through Feb 2022. All five that were sequenced had adenovirus type 41. In 2 patients, plasma were negative for adenovirus, but both patients are positive when retested using whole blood. 2 patients required liver transplant, no patients died. So this is their report. What is a cumulative? So that means I'll have to sit down tomorrow and pull all this data together. So now you see that how much hard work goes in pulling the data and put that in one place. Hepatitis in children cases. This is 5 hours ago. That is CDC. So severe cases in kids continue to rise as WHO calls for. The number of cases of unexplained severe hepatitis in children continue to take upwards. On Thursday, the WHO said that about 170 cases have been reported so far in 16 countries, up from 74 cases in just the United Kingdom 2 weeks ago. 10% of these cases have been so severe that children needed liver transplants, or 10% of 117. One child died, according to the WHO. In the US, the Wisconsin Department of Health Services said Wednesday it is investigating the death of one child as well as suspected cases in 3 other children. Cases have also been identified in other states. This has only confirmed the cases in Alabama. So this is WHO's video. Okay, so this is data. So once again, thanks to the whatever this news site is, some news site, and thanks to the journalist who did it. So this is courtesy Stephanie Cuna. That must be the picture by Erica Edwards. So thanks to her that she pulled this data together. 170 cases, 17 died, 16 countries. 17 needed liver transplant, 1 died. This is just sad. Meanwhile, in America, says, how long does one live on after liver replacement transplant? I hesitate to ask, but curious. If the patient is kept immunosuppressed, then good life. But the problem is immunosuppression. What I do not know is prognosis in children. So let's say prognosis of liver replace transplant in children. And it also depends that does a child or the person has some other immune disease that just continues to attack it. But these were healthy children. So let's see. The most pediatric liver transplant performed. Okay. These are all ads. So I'm trying to see the prognosis. Okay, so 20 years survival expected. So when is it? 2016. So it may not be as latest. 20-year survival expected for 4 out of 5 children who receive liver transplant. That's a sad thing. 20 years expected. A new study shows that 20-year survival after childhood liver transplantation can be expected for almost 80% of patients. The study shares long-term outcome data from medical record of children who receive transplant over 5 years. And it may be that they continue to live for longer. They, I think, only studied them for 20 years. So a new study presented today shows that 20-year survival after childhood liver transplantation can be expected for almost 80% of the patients. I think that these healthy patients would have better chances. The reason for that is that if another child is looking for a or needing a liver transplant, if it is not traumatic, if it is not because of accidents, if it is because of some disease, then when the liver is transplanted, that disease might still be continuing. So So according to the study, patient survival rates recorded at 5, 10, 15, and 20 years were 84%, 82%, 80%, 79%. While graft survival rate was 73%, 72, 67, and 65 respectively. The most common complication experienced by patients were infection, followed by acute and chronic rejection. That's the problem. Chronic kidney disease, stage 2 or more, was present in 1/3 of the patients. Hmm. So Maggie says, could they have been given Tylenol? It's not that we can develop clusters of unexplained hepatitis, and Tylenol can actually be detected. So Elquin says, outcomes of adults who receive liver transplant as young children. Yeah, that's a good one. So let's see. Outcomes of adults who receive liver transplant as young children. Lancet. Okay, so this is June 25, 2021, really fresh. Patient and graft survival 20 years after pediatric transplantation are excellent. In children, attainment of normal growth, education, and social adaptation to be an independent adult are equally important. Okay, so this particularly relevant for children who receive liver transplant at a young age, when infantile onset liver disease, surgery, and immunosuppression can adversely affect growth and neurodevelopment. Okay, so the aim of this study was to evaluate the long-term physical and psychosocial outcomes of PLT recipients with normal graft function. We coined the term meaningful survival. So let's see. Findings. 84 patients met study criteria. Median age at transplantation was 1.3 years. So very similar to these children. With median duration, so the range was 0.7 to 3.3. With median duration of follow-up of 20.2 years. So they only followed up for that many years. 18 to 23.5 is the range. At median of 20 years, 19 patients, 23% had chronic renal dysfunction. Wow, that is sad. And 3 patients, 4% had a BMI of greater than 30, mean 20.4. Evaluation of long-term psychological outcomes demonstrated 22 patients with mental health disorders. Substance abuse was lower than national average. 62 patients were in education, employment, or training. Overall, only 26% of our cohort achieved a composite outcome of meaningful survival. That's not nice. Meaning, that's sad. So only 26%. But I'm hopeful for these children that number one, they were not sick with some other autoimmune type disease. Number two, as they are growing, the medicine is moving fast as well. So hopefully they will have more help. So this is the largest reported long-term study of biopsychosocial outcome of PLT recipients with normal liver biochemistry with follow-up upon completion of physical growth and senior school education. Importantly, despite normal liver function, many patients did not demonstrate meaningful survival. we must refocus our efforts towards better understanding the long term outcomes of children, a meaningful survival rather than mere survival. Thank you, Alquin. Yeah, but they must have been trying to understand their quality of life, which would include the functioning of the body, other diseases, immunosuppression, then there's psychological issues, social issues. Robin says there are two children in Minnesota with hepatitis. One is a Minnesota child, and the other is South Dakota child. Yeah. Wishing them one. Well, Mega Musi says what? Kidneys? Yeah, so kidney is probably an additional issue then. So it depends. There can be partial liver transplant as well, but they can be full too. This is why I still believe in my thought that we all, or new children, should have their organs pieces donated to themselves as soon as they are able to, so that their own tissue can be generated to give them their tissue back instead of getting a transplant. I do not think that transplant, although that heart that was modified, the pig's heart that was genetically modified to transplant to a human being. Sadly, that person died, but it did help him. That is one way. And the other way is that we donate our own healthy tissue to ourselves, and then in the future, that tissue is um, increased in cell count, and then hopefully regenerated on membranes and can be given back to the patient. I think that is the most important way to do it. And I cannot patent it because I've discussed it many times. This is my name is Project Phoenix for this one. The only thing is I do not have enough resources to create a organ bank for the life of people. For example, they donate it, we keep it there in a viable state, protected from all kind of environmental and other issues for a long time. Is the Phoenix Project a real website? It may be. I'm scared of looking it up while online. So let's see. Well, I'm not sharing the screen. There is a novel that is the Phoenix Project. I'm trying to see if there is actually a site named. Okay, so here, I do not know what the site is, so don't throw paperweight at me. The Phoenix Project. You deserve a safe space to heal. Phoenix is a caring digital community that supports mental health and wellness anywhere, anytime, which can be a Phoenix as well. Skyfrog says it does not exist. So I think we should do, yeah, this one says I am Phoenix Project. We should have a The Phoenix Project. And yes, I think if something can really help future humans, that is the Phoenix Project, where they give part of their pancreatic cells to themselves, a part of liver cells to themselves, some kidney tissue, and then some immune bone marrow. And then tomorrow, when there is a bone marrow suppression or cancers or liver issues or pancreatic acid diabetes, they can get their own cells back. That would be the most compatible tissue. There is going to be no need for anything else. Okay to Let Go says, Why not share this idea, the Phoenix Project, with Russian scientists? Russia's awash in money. Sure. Meanwhile, in America, says 100% Elon Musk would pay for this. So I see so many people asking money from Elon Musk all the time, and I just don't like it. I hate asking. So, so Skyfrog, yes, tissue can be. There are two things. Of course, nowadays there are umbilical banks or umbilicus banks, but yes. Holy Angel says, "Thank you, Dr. Bean, for educating us about PEG. As I've noticed it is in lotions, liquid soap, and many other things. So why might PEG be used in many non-drug items? It has a because it is kind of slippery. It is a lipid, so it's a derivative. It is derived from petroleum. So many of the petroleum things, as long as they are safe, can be. Previously, petroleum products might be carcinogenic, but these are the safe derivatives that are used for kind of making them slippery. And this one can have water with it as well, so it increases that viscosity diameter for the product. So with this, let's stop for today. Mega Moose says they charge an arm and a leg for transplant. Yeah. So let's start for today. I hope that you like the talks that we are doing nowadays, and have a nice weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you would like to support this work, there are links in the description to support it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.